Welcome to Sneaky Athletic, your favorite sports adjacent audio forum. We've already done this once, but Alec didn't have his mic plugged in. So round two.
Why you have to call me out like that?
It's kind of my job.
That's fair. Absolutely. So what are we getting into?
This week we got our normal segments. Beef of the week, lifestyle tip, Google this, what the feed. I got an SAP MDB.
I do as well.
Okay, I think we're going to touch esports. And then what else?
You looking at me?
Okay, I'll figure it out.
All right, perfect.
Okay, but before we get into all that, first a word from our sponsor, the one, the only fertilizer service company based out of Fairfax, Mill off Highway 59. They're up there in God's country.
You know it.
They're covering all your fertilizer needs from the time of planting to harvest.
Everything.
If you need them, hit them up at 660-686-2402. And you know,
they're keeping God's country as good as she grows.
All right, let's get started.
My heart, my soul, I gave it all. But loving you was never easy.
Long time no see, Alec.
Honestly, it has been a while.
It's kind of been refreshing, I'll be honest.
Oh, oof. All right. All right, bud.
We're hot in the mic today. No, I'm just kidding. But I haven't seen you since did I even see you on Thursday? It's Monday now. It's been like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah.
For people who live together, it's been a while since
Honestly,
we've seen each other.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I've been upset with the world since I've last seen you.
Okay.
Everybody thinks it's coming to an end.
But not you.
Not me.
Good for you.
I truly think that this is one of the most inspirational times we have ever lived in. Let me give a little caveat here. If you're a racist, not for you. But
Okay.
everybody else has so much more of a voice than they have ever had for atrocities that have been, done upon them. And we get to hear it now. Whereas before they were silenced, these people weren't really heard out. There were so many issues. At least we are starting this conversation. Is it completely cleared up? Have we found the best avenue to resolve it? No. But this is further than we have been in so long.
But you're positive.
Right. Like, this is only... You have to think of change as more of a cruise ship than a speedboat.
Has changed the Titanic?
It might be what we're up against.
Oh, God. I hope not.
Police is the iceberg.
I hope that change is not the Titanic.
I hope so too.
I don't know.
I just thought that was funny.
I think there are some good things coming out of this. I think 2020, it's been shit so far, but I think we've learned a lot, and I think we're coming a long ways.
Well, what more could we learn from you? What's your lifestyle tip?
My lifestyle tip, I don't know. It's not serious at all, but
God
I was
damn it.
thinking about this before coming in, and I was like, what is important before you go? I went home this weekend for the first time, and since Mother's Day, but actually saw a bunch of people and went to an event. Getting your hair cut and making a good appearance is so important, and a lot of people are finally getting their hair cut around now. Get it cut 7 to 10 days before a big event.
I'm glad that you just didn't go with the haircut tip because you've given that before, but absolutely.
No, 7 to 10 days. It lets it kind of get to where it needs
to
to
form
be.
itself.
It's
You need a little experience.
Especially your hair that's super long now. Nobody has short hair right now. Or you either have extremely short hair or extremely long hair.
Correct. You've either buzzed it way too close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you've just been letting the lettuce get loose.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy with my choice of getting it cut about 10 days before I went home. Just felt good. Felt
Absolutely.
right. I felt like I was looking good. We took some family pictures, Father's Day. Felt like my hair was looking good.
I can't be any more grateful than I am, because I'm one person who, like, my hair is like an issue. That's when I cut it. It's like whenever it bothers me is whenever I like deal with that issue.
Yeah, I just kind of go until it's like whatever. I need a haircut.
Right. And I'm not that way. Like the second it bugs me, I'm like, okay, I need to like go ahead and like book something. But my girlfriend has now, like, I bought a pair of clippers to like give to her, and she has now started to cut my hair.
She cutting it like every 2 weeks?
I mean, I'm gonna start like getting a clean fade
Getting
once
the
she
DJ
gets a lot
Khaled,
better. I
getting
mean,
the-
this was her first time, but it wasn't
the only way
terrible.
for her to get better is to continue giving you haircuts.
And it will.
So you need to get that DJ Khaled like once a week lineup.
But I'm telling you, I am so.
He looks so shitty without that.
I'm so sick of just like getting haircuts like every couple of months. Anyways, like if you're gonna have like
it.
your hair works for it. Like whenever I cut my hair short, like I need it, or it will, porcupine out.
There are people, yeah. I mean, my hair, yeah, I like having the variety of hairstyle. Like, it's not the same type of hairstyle, but it gets more full and it just kind of looks the same.
My hair has to be longer for me to have that accessibility, and I just don't have that ability right now.
Interesting.
But I'll tell you what else I'm mad about besides the accessibility of my hair, and that's adult friends.
Why is that?
Because they're hard to find. Because also people, I would say that my biggest beef with this is the fact that people post-college feel like I'm just going to stumble into friends. Like there are very few circumstances where you'll ever be in a situation where it's like everybody's looking to make friends. Freshman year of college, like camp.
Yeah, summer camp.
Yeah. You go to a convention as an adult with your work crew.
Convention.
Right.
Or,
you have to look for those opportunities. Like friends just don't fall in your lap anymore.
You can make friends for like a week. You go on vacation to like an all-inclusive resort.
Right.
Like friends for a week.
But
something like that.
Those people aren't going to be like around you.
True.
And so
it's
that's
also,
my thing.
We're not in like definitely not in our living situation. We might, I don't know how long we're going to be in Colombia, but it doesn't feel like you're in a temporary position currently. Like we were kind of talking about this where it's like making friends from around here. It's like, well, then I have to like kind of branch out from what I already know that's here. And then like, how long am I staying here?
7 years down the road, these people are just insignificant.
I've already been here for 7 years. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I know the people I like.
I feel
here. Like those are the people I like. I'll point to the 2 or 3 of them that are left around here. Everybody else left. I like my adult friends that I have, but they're just not around here. Which makes it tough.
That's the thing. If you want to make more adult friends where you are, you have to look for other avenues.
What profession has the most adult friends?
Probably the profession where it's like, so one of my buddies
salesman
just got hired in Chicago of like, he's bringing businessmen there to do deals with his firm. And his entire job is like, just, I have your, flight itinerary. We're going to go to this super swanky restaurant. I'm going to entertain you. Like people whose job is just to entertain for a fancy restaurant. Like, does it get any better?
So like friend wise?
Well, I think those people end up becoming your friend. Don't get me wrong, that it is a shallow friendship.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
but like that is a very welcome partnership. That's a very welcome opportunity to like start that though.
I'm saying
like they understand your job. They understand why you're there.
I think like teachers probably make the most adult friends.
I think actually,
I think it has to be something where there's a lot of people your same age, and there's a lot of communication where contact info, like you have to have each other's contact info. Otherwise, like at my work, it's like besides my 4 or 5 direct coworkers, like I'm not really close with any of them because I don't really need their information. I don't need to hang out with them outside of that. Whereas like somewhere else where you kind of need to rely on them a little bit more.
My thing is you have to like kind of find people within your own like realm of like what you like to like create friends. Like you have to have some similarities at a base level. If everything is different, unless you are the 2 most respected people in the world.
Are all of our friends just going to be disc golfers? Because I don't know that I'm ready to sign up for that.
I'm ready to make so much money. What are you talking about?
Beating them? I
Oh,
think if
yeah.
we're meeting a stat, like we'd have to go find a friend and make them disc golfers. I don't think you're going to meet very many disc golfers who are like, oh, I'm worse than
That's
you.
correct. That's fair. I think my thing is just that you are looking for friends in the wrong places. If as an adult you're looking to find friends as easy as you did in summer camp or freshman year of college.
Yeah.
Those opportunities are few and far between.
Yeah.
What are you mad about? Or what's your lifestyle? Sorry.
No, I already gave my lifestyle. I am mad about
We
haircuts.
flippity-flopped?
Yeah. Haircuts is my lifestyle. I am mad. So I traveled this week.
Yes.
This is the first time traveling since
Your wreck.
the bidet was installed.
I thought about it. I'm telling you. I spent so much time thinking about, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be straightforward with you here. I haven't shit in your toilet yet. But I'll
You were
tell
thinking
you what,
about it?
I thought about it so long.
I think I wouldn't have been mad. I'd have been disappointed. Like, at least give me a text first.
The thing is like, I feel like I need to buy my own. Like, that is something that is like so specific.
It's
Like, I have to go
personal.
into your bathroom to like
Yeah,
specifically
but
use that bidet. But I'll
let me
tell you
tell-
what, I goddamn thought long and hard
thing is,
about that crisp.
You would have used it
Air.
once. You would have been on Amazon sitting on the toilet. You wouldn't even got up. You'd already been on Amazon ordering one. I got home and I was like, I should have uninstalled it and brought it. I should have just brought it.
What are they doing there? What are your parents doing? They're living in the Stone Age.
I know. And it's just, it was so nice to have it back. Just Sunday night, I was just felt at ease getting back and having it. I just got beef with,
Crisp beehole.
I got beef with toilets that don't have bidets.
I'm right there with you. I'll tell you what, I don't have anything to contribute because I
Besides
agree.
the fact that you're on
I'm
the verge
jealous.
of buying one.
I'm jealous, yeah.
I'll send you the link to the
100%.
one I have.
Okay. So I got my What the Feed, which I know that you're curious about because this made me laugh out loud earlier.
You wouldn't tell me. You refused.
So everybody knows that everything's opening up a little bit. And we also have some police issues currently in our society. So both of these things came to a head when people opened up and went back to strip clubs. But police brutality extends far beyond just minorities, also professions, sex workers.
Okay.
So a Miami stripper was arrested for squirting vaginal fluids at a police officer in self-defense.
Which, what did she have to be like, hold on, like, let me get in position? Like, what was she, how did she like, she was running away. I don't know. I don't want to get into the,
I don't want to know, but I'm telling you, your imagination is just enough of how that situation unfolded.
Oh my God. Was she like crab walking at him?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Because to be honest, I don't need all the information on the article. Just that is enough. I don't really truly want to like pop the bubble.
That's a headline that you just write it and then you put by your name and that's all you need. You don't need
nothing,
anything else.
no other information.
And just a stock like police photo with the caution tape.
Well, I was going to say
all you
this
need.
because it is very important. The photo is not that. It is a woman who looks like the white trash version of Leslie Knope.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
put that image in your head.
So like Tammy Swanson, if you watch Parks and Rec. Oh yeah, that looks like white trash Leslie Knope.
What you got? What's your What the Feed?
My What the Feed.
Got some crazy little stuff for us on the internet this week.
Tomato plants fertilized with human urine produce up to 4 times more fruit and had higher levels of beta carotene and protein than traditional fertilizers.
If you're an avid listener to the podcast, you know that we have previously talked about self-fertilizing units.
Yes.
Is that what this is? Is this the vest that grows plants?
No.
Okay.
Because tomatoes can't. They need a little more like structure.
I get that, but that doesn't mean you can't put that in the front of your vest.
But I'm saying now I
have a solid monogamous household. Nobody's cheating. I will raise these boys like they are my own, regardless.
What I'm saying is
I'll adopt these tomato plants.
I grew up pissing out on my backyard off the porch. And my mom said not to piss on the tomato plants. She was wrong.
Oh. So really, this is just like a secret beef.
Yeah, this is like kind of beef. Kind of. Like, she was like, no, don't do that. And then she was always worried about the deer coming up and eat them. Well, fuck, if I would have just pissed on them.
I have a counter thing. Not really a counter thing. Just something that I want to say in defense of your mom.
Okay.
Because honestly, I was going to text her this, but I know she listens.
Okay.
I am so thankful for the zucchini bread you sent home with your son.
Yeah, I brought back 2 more loaves.
It is just absolutely fire flame.
And the corn. I told her you were addicted to her freezer corn. Yeah.
Mama Farmer, you're the GOAT.
She sent back some more stuff. The fridge is kind of stocked.
Fantastic. So we'll move on.
I also, side fact on this. I just remembered.
Another side dish?
It's bananas. One of the most, I don't know if it's profitable or highest producing banana farms in the country, I'm pretty sure. If not the Western Hemisphere, maybe, is down in, I believe, the Bahamas. And they actually just run the town's sewage out to the banana farm, and just fertilize the plants with the human sewage from in town.
And you're telling me communism doesn't work?
I mean, it's distribution of resources at its best.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. What's your...
All joking aside, I will go into my very serious privacy policies. I don't want to be that serious about it, but there's a congressman who's currently putting out a bill. Because, do you read privacy policies?
No.
Exactly. He's putting out this bill because nobody does that shit. He understands the regular people, and so I am trying to get people to kind of get behind him. So, Senator Sherrod Brown wants to upend years of debate over a potential federal privacy law by shifting the burden away from the consumers onto the companies. Currently, it is, you post it, you are responsible. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that should be absolved. I think you should still be responsible for the free speech that you post if it is hate enticing. Freedom
of speech, free to face your consequences.
Correct. But whenever you talk about privacy policies and where your information is going, those things aren't necessarily free to you. You don't have the access to information potentially, or even more other things. And so I think that people should get on how we sort of regulate privacy policy.
I mean, I agree. I think, get a little educated about it.
Absolutely. I mean, like, think of how much information of yours is on Facebook and what Facebook could do.
Yeah. I've
tried. Sole reason I don't use it.
I have it. I don't know that I've really posted a lot on there, but yeah, it's dangerous.
Well, I feel like I've talked too long. So back to back. Let's hit a Google this and SAP-MDB. What you got for me?
My Google this is your GOAT.
Unfortunately. This is rough.
Novak
rough for
Djokovic.
Me. Yeah.
So many of us don't know this because there were much more entertaining things, and even not entertaining things. If you're just enjoying your weekend, your Father's Day weekend, there were definitely some more sports on. There was some good UFC. There was some good golf. But Novak Djokovic, he hosted a tournament because his country has the coronavirus under control.
Serbia kind of does.
Yeah, so he hosted a tennis tournament, and there was no social distancing. There was just the crowds were let in, everybody was playing. He was playing in it. And 2 players, 1 coach, and 1 fitness trainer contracted COVID-19 at his event. And he went straight home without even being tested because, quote, he did not feel any symptoms. Tough look. Tough look for Novak seeing Djokovic.
Let me address the before home, but because I have absolutely zero rebuttal for that statement and those actions. But it seems to me like beforehand with it seems like that's a team. It seems like what you described was a team of people who contracted it.
2 players, 1 coach, 1 fitness trainer. It doesn't
So
say the
maybe-
players were teammates.
Yeah.
So you're trying to spin zone this into they brought it in?
I'm technically what I'm trying to spin zone it into is they probably didn't have testing beforehand, and they got in there and they were applicable to this testing that showed that they had symptoms, but they are super fit, not the demographic that's going to be, really harmed by this virus.
It was a different player, Novak's coach, and his trainer, and then a different player. So it was not one team. Wow.
So, what's your Google this?
Pretty piss poor execution. Why don't you just leave it to the Wimbledons and the U.S. Opens of the world, Novak? Why don't you just let them take care of the tennis tournaments?
He'll stick to playing.
Yeah. Why don't you just avoid the clay?
I'm fine with that. We can come to a middle ground on that.
Fair enough. So, I feel like this has been in the talks forever. If you kind of pay attention to movies and stuff, but officially, the Mike Tyson biopic will be moving forward with Jamie Foxx starring as the boxing icon. I feel like I've been hearing news about this. Like, I think he went on like Sway in the Morning and he like set out a whole, he mapped out what he was going to do. I'm going to see if I can pull that clip up. I am already excited for this because I know he's going to get so committed and he's going to nail that lisp so perfectly. Like he's going to spend hundreds of hours, countless hours nailing that fucking lisp.
That's pretty funny.
Like he's going to make that lisp his bitch.
Did you know Jamie Foxx got canceled?
From what?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out, but apparently he's on this list of canceled people.
I had not heard that.
Yeah. No, he's on like Chris D'Elia list.
Really?
Shit. Yeah. I don't know.
Here, this is he was on Hot 97. This was 5 years ago. I told you this has been in the making for what seems like forever.
The only thing that I saw was his like weight and him like actively fluctuating his weight for it. But go ahead.
Here's a clip of Jamie Foxx detailing the opening scenes of Mike Tyson movie.
We just, talked about with the movie that coming out with different fluctuating weights, different symptoms of not. Are you a Jamie Foxx defender? I guess is what I'm trying to say before we get into this.
No, I didn't.
That was not the angle that I was trying to take. I just kind of wanted you to introduce this clip, but now I'm interested.
I didn't know anything was going on.
Well, let's just play it. Let's just play the clip for us.
They're going to use I'm sure they're going to use some sort of CGI to play a young Mike.
Yeah,
because
what's going to happen is that they have the new technology now that, as a matter of fact, Martin Scorsese has perfected, would allow us to play him young as well. Because we were talking about who do we get to play the young Mike Tyson. Luckily, the technology is on our side. Let me give you the opening of the movie.
Here we go.
The camera is high, but not as high as the heavens, just above the trees, and it's snaking through New York. Somewhere in New York, and it's cold, and people are on their way to work. It's just one camera, and you hear focus mitts being hit in the distance, and it's just capturing regular day, blue collar people. You know what I'm saying? The hood, it's just regular. People on their way somewhere, and then we get up to this boxing gym. We see the doors, and the camera stops, and you hear the doors open magically. Camera snakes in, and we see in the distance a hulking figure holding focus mitts and a little kid hitting the mitts. And you hear the kid asking the hulking figure, "My dad said you were amazing. My dad said you was one of the best. You was boss. You was this, you was that." And you hear the person's voice, "Don't worry about what your dad said. Just throw the right. Make sure you keep your left though. Get your head knocked off." And as the camera gets closer, you see that it's now Mike Tyson. "No, but my dad said," "I'm going to tell you one time, don't say anything about your dad. I don't care. That was back in the day. Just throw the left, and when you shoot the right, shoot it with authority. Shoot like you mean it." Boom. And he throws it right, and he hits Mike, and Mike acts like he's falling in super slow motion. And when he hits the ground, ding, 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 he's back at the last fight. He got knocked out. And he's he's there. And as you see him, the last fight, he's on the ground, and he rests back on the ropes, and he sees everybody talking shit. Everybody saying, "Get up, Mike." Some people saying, "You a bum." Some people saying all the things that people were saying, because we were split at that time. And he rests back on the rope, spits his mouthpiece out, and it goes calm. and you just hear, and he's saying, I'm done with all of this. And all of a sudden, just as we relax into that moment, the ref comes up, 1, 2,
Yeah.
and we flash back to the young Mike Tyson. That's how it opens.
So
Yo, when's this come out though? We ain't got a release
It's coming.
date.
It's coming.
We ain't got a release date.
It's coming.
That was 5 years ago.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm saying.
I wish
I'm
I
not
had
sure
that
that he's canceled
way
or
with
not,
words.
but I remember seeing that clip a while ago and being like, I can't wait for this to fucking come out. Now I'm
Beautiful.
so excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so my SAP
now
MDB.
yours.
Yeah, I kind of like
Maybe
got
you
lost
should
in
have
the
went first.
thought of that. Good God. Well, so I like kind of quick touched on this because I knew this wasn't your forte with Avatar earlier, but I haven't touched into this next one that I'm about to
You better touch
Put
me
out
right
there.
now.
get on the floor and touch me, baby. Oh, feel me sexy? What, touch me sexy?
Love me sexy.
Love me sexy. All right. Sorry to all your Tropics fans out there. I apologize. Anyways, Korra is actually a sequel to Avatar, spelled Korra.
Okay.
You know, Avatar is fantastic. I just finished it last night. Like
How
front to
many
back.
seasons is it?
So technically 3, but they do have like intermittent episodes that are extra long. Like
Okay. Like a mid-season finale type beat.
correct. Like
That goes
they
like a
have
double.
mid seasons that are like hours or
Yeah.
3 episodes or whatever, and then like the final was 4
Okay.
altogether. Yeah,
Interesting. So if you're
I'll come back with a review, but that is what I'm gearing up for because I don't want to just hammer home Avatar because I'll spend too much time. That's my
Yeah.
forte, but I do feel like that is a good bridge between
Let's get to
us on that because also you don't have to read,
you know I'm bad at it.
and I that's specifically oh my god,
I don't know that you've ever said that word right. This is our 75th episode. The first time you ever try that in any of the episodes, you've never nailed that word.
all right, specifically.
Woo! Hey, oh.
I think
That's producer error right there.
I kind of forgot what I said. You know what's even more producer error there?
What?
Not realizing I had ADD. Let's get on to it.
All right, let's talk about something that maybe your ADD helps you with.
Potentially.
That's playing video games.
So, actually, Adderall is a performance-enhancing drug, if you did not know, in the gaming world.
Do they, like, I'm assuming do they get drug
They
tested?
test it. They test for Adderall, yeah.
I mean, that's good. They're about
Specifically, I have an issue with it.
they're probably about 12 steps ahead of cycling then.
Fair.
Like, I mean,
Is Ninja the Lance
esports-
Armstrong?
but like esports hasn't been a thing for that long, and they're already
Disagree.
like professional, like make people who've made a living from esports as what 5 years
Still
old.
disagree. Yeah. Much longer than that.
How old? When did it start?
So, I mean, by Call of Duty 4 days, like we probably had people who could make a living off of it.
And that was about 2010. That was about 10 years ago.
I will Google it. Well, you explain
Yeah, that was maybe 2009.
more of why we came into this topic. Like what just went on.
So, a major streaming site for gamers. Basically, most of you, I would assume, have heard of Twitch. Twitch was basically it was the ESPN of hosting live streaming sports or esports. So, your gamers get on there and they can stream and people watch them, and it's very popular. Well, all of a sudden they got a competitor, aka like Fox Sports 1 would be what's called Mixer, and it was made by Microsoft. Well, 2 of Twitch's biggest streamers caught a bag and a half to go over to Mixer.
I wouldn't say 2 of Twitch's biggest streamers. I would say one, like the biggest
streamer,
streamer of all
and
time.
like a top tier streamer.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
not like not 1 and 2. It wasn't like all of a sudden they just signed like LeBron and Giannis. You know, they signed.
But they did sign LeBron.
Yeah, they essentially signed like LeBron, and then some other. I don't know who to compare him to, like
LeBron and Anthony Davis. Honestly, yeah.
Or I was thinking, so they signed those two. Well,
What year did you say COD 4 came out?
09.
Buddy.
When did it come out?
04. But that's pretty close. I'm giving you too much shit for that.
Okay. Well, I was basically just working backwards off Modern Warfare 2, but I guess those games didn't come out that quickly and in succession as they do now. Now we get one every year. It was Modern Warfare 2, and then there was World
Modern
of War,
Warfare
and then Call of
2
Duty.
makes it seem like that is still like a earlier iteration of the Call of Duty franchise, whereas Call of Duty 4 came out much before Modern Warfare 2.
But it was only 2 games before it.
Correct, but still.
So in my brain, I'm working backwards, thinking in my brain, I was thinking backwards by a year. And I'm pretty sure Modern Warfare 2 came out when I was in like 8th grade. So Mixer signs these 2 big gamers to monster contracts, and now they have dissolved, and we've found out how much they made and what they get to now, because Mixer was a Microsoft product, and basically they're transferring over to Facebook streaming, which
Well, specifically the issue with that is like kind of what I wanted to talk about, because the issue of going over to Facebook streaming was specifically what made them lose Ninja.
it broke
and,
their
like
contracts.
the big guys who they had brought in, like the LeBron Jameses of esports. Like whenever they went in and made that decision to go ahead and change who they were going to pay, the people who were heads were like, hey, we don't want to be paid by Facebook. And so they're like, we can pay you extra, but Ninja, those top tier guys were like, I don't want
we're
it.
out.
Yeah.
Which they had every right to.
100%.
And Ninja and the other person that they signed, which Shroud, is that Shroud? Ninja made approximately $30 million, and Shroud made approximately $10 million, which is just insane. I mean, it's ridiculous. And how long were they with him? 2 years? Was it even that?
So I don't think that they were really with them that long. But I think the thing to really look at here for me is the progression of esports. So do you know what Ninja became famous for? Why, like literally why he has his name?
He was a Halo guy.
Yeah, so Halo came out in the same year that Call of Duty 4 came out. Halo 3, to be specific. And there was a specific technique that if somebody was following you, you would just jump up and you would hit them in the back. And that's technically an assassination. And so it's one hit kill.
Yeah.
Ninja was, like, literally it's named after him. This move is named after Ninja. Like, it's called you ninja somebody. Like, you literally jump up, let them walk in front of you, and then bop them. So, Ninja went from being this super small, I wouldn't say niche, but, like, it was such a smaller market at the time. Famous. Like, I mean, literally rebranded the game esports player. And nothing, no sort of residuals from it. And then now we see him.
Because he was allowed to basically make a personal brand, which is where he was able to...
He was a part of a team. It wasn't like he was going off and like doing anything crazy. It was like it wasn't like Fortnite. Like Twitch, it's not this battle royale sort of thing.
But Twitch allowed him to create a personal brand.
Correct. Yeah.
Twitch
so much more
streaming,
focused him.
Streaming your games allowed him to show that, like, showcase his personality and his ability to entertain,
and his
while
already
gaming.
Individual skill that's off the charts. I mean, being able to, in any game, any sort of respective sports realm, video games or not, being able to coin a term off of a move that you made, that's the next level.
Yeah, I mean,
we still call it the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, I mean, it would. We shouldn't maybe reach that far.
Would you be surprised?
It's not the championship. It'd be like.
Would you be surprised if there was an esports championship and they called it the whatever the fuck his first name is.
Tyler, I think.
The Tyler
Whatever.
Trophy Award, whatever. I don't know.
Like I mean,
Tyler Gaming Award.
Maybe farther down the line, but he's also like, I don't think he's one of the most tournament winning players either, which is
That's
also,
fair. Which is
also
another
it's
interesting
a very
point.
weird. Yeah. So you don't see that with other sports.
Correct. And I
You
think
do
that
to a
is
certain
so
degree
interesting.
with the amount of money they can make on the side,
but people
it doesn't
will flip flop.
It doesn't, just because Chris Paul is making a bag off State Farm doesn't make him more successful gamer or more popular, but because Ninja has a better, can basically showcase his personality better and play games, he's known as a better and more prominent gamer.
He might be the best we've ever seen at this point at streaming and gaming.
Yes.
But I think that the thing that
On a
you
PC.
mentioned earlier, well, people on PC play with controllers. Is like there's a lot of like niche things to this because there are still some people who like, I'll just turn my aim assist up, because if you play on an actual controller versus a PC, you're a little bit more accurate. About 30% is the technical difference there. So whenever you play with a controller, people will just turn their, aim assist up. And
Okay.
I think
technical.
the more important thing to this, to me, is the fact that there are so many different games that people have gravitated to, that these are like the epitome of it. Like,
and it's ever changing. It's not like basketball. The rules don't change all the time. It's like you don't go from a single person basketball game to all of a sudden now you're a 4-person basketball game to now you're playing basketball on the moon to now you're playing basketball here. Like,
which is kind of my thing is
it
like,
stays consistent.
They have new maps, they have new metas, like they change as it goes on. Like what constitutes something to stay that long? Because Fortnite has literally given Ninja his popularity because of...
But Ninja's also given Fortnite their popularity. It's kind of A and
absolutely. It's a 1-on-1. But whenever you think about other games, like, do you think that technically comes as a overall, like, does Ninja's presence improve other games' watchability, as well as does it improve the general people's understanding of what that is? Because to like do some research today, I watched some like professional gaming leagues, like just a couple that I didn't know, and the way that they do the like score bar or board or whatever you want to put it, like, like this is who has the ball, like the flag, whatever is at the bottom whenever you watch like a sports game.
Yeah, like 1st and 10.
Exactly. Or, like a foul.
Yeah.
The way that they do that is almost impeccable.
I also think that, I don't know, there's so many like ways to watch it. So when you're watching like a true tournament of teams playing, it's like you're watching the purest form of the sport. You're watching like, it's like when people say they watch Little League baseball or NCAA basketball, it's like, that's the real sport.
So do you find that more interesting? I guess that's more my question for you, because I understand it from a technical sense. Like, I'm a video gamer. I understand like, oh my God, what he just did was insane.
That's not more interesting to me is watching a streamer who's like also at the same time like maybe cracking a joke or giving like a pro tip while they're doing it. Yeah. That it's like, to me, it's like,
how could we combine those for you? Do you have like mic'd up streamers? Yeah.
Like I think it's what it comes down to. But then it's
there's such a
then there's a disadvantage of trying to like that's why I think that like some of those streamers are not at their peak while they're streaming, or like they'll go into like, all right, guys, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to like play for a second mode, because it's like they're not trying to also like entertain or give you tips. They're like, because I think a lot of the reason is people started watching streamers because they're like, well, I want to know how they're playing and I want them to maybe say something. It's the same thing of like watching a YouTube video of like a guy breaking down a baseball swing or a golf swing. I mean,
it's almost learning styles is what you're talking about, though.
Kind of. But
can I watch him and understand that like his sniper shots are better than mine because of XYZ?
Yeah. And it's like, well, it's like, how the hell do you do that? And it's like, oh, also it's like, I can watch this stream. They can show me their complete setup. They can show me all these details
and
where
it
it's
could
like
truly be just down to oh, you have a better mouse.
Yeah, it's like,
than I
oh,
do.
you're making that button. You establish that button does this. Whereas like when I'm watching LeBron play in the finals, I'm like, oh, how the fuck did he just hit that spin move and like shoot that fade? Whereas like if I were to watch like a YouTube video of it where they're like actually breaking it down, and he's like telling me all this and showing the drills, like that's where I kind of feel like the streaming aspect comes in. You can get the streaming is so much more variety, and watching a tournament is the true sport. Like there's no frills when you're watching the tournament. You might have some announcers. I think that's probably somewhere where esports could improve when they're doing announcers like that.
Well, I think just in general, esports announcers are trash.
Yeah,
like
that's what
announcers are bad in general, but like especially in esports where they have less, availability. But I think that the thing that I really truly want to ask you is,
until Ninja retires and becomes an announcer, you know what I mean? Like they don't have that ability. That's a
good point. Yeah.
The first look at you have all these former players who announce in NBA, NFL, NHL. All these former players are giving you their knowledge, whereas like the first generation of gamers are still
it's like real coming out. Yeah, none of them have
the first generation of professional gamers haven't retired yet.
Correct. Yeah. Which honestly, that length is probably a lot longer, which
and
is also another issue.
It's like a whole different when you're in the NBA, you're like, okay, I'm practicing once a day, lifting weights once a day. I'm playing every other day, whatever.
How many team esports have you watched?
I've watched, maybe a dozen.
I know you watched a Rocket League game with me the other day.
I've watched, yeah. And I've watched, I guess Fortnite's not, there's some Fortnite team ones. I've watched some like Call of Duty team ones or whatever. I don't know.
I think my difference in how I appreciate video games versus yours is very distinct. And I think that also determines how we appreciate the game, because whenever we talk about games like Call of Duty, you don't have a button that you press for like an ultimate or an ability, or it's like you have these guns and you're sitting in a
it's a first person shooter,
right?
Know.
Whereas the games that I enjoy watching are very much based on, I'm going to use this ability at this time and I have so much of a cooldown, and like there's so many more things that come into scope. And I think that is sort of what's drawing people, but also what is creating that separation, because that might not be something that draws you.
Yeah, it's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a casual thing that I might watch, and if it goes over my head, I'm just not gonna watch it.
How do we do that? Because like I said, I literally watched this the other day to do research, and I thought that this was like one of the most professional like scoreboard visualizations I have ever seen, and like
I think that's how the
characters.
What? I think that's how you do it. Part of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I was thinking while I was watching this, I go, if my dad was sitting here and he just took this in from a fresh blank space of view, I think that he would be like, oh, what's that? What's this? What's, XYZ? And I could absolutely explain the game to him so much better. But I think that there's still a disconnect between people like you who like just do not care for these special abilities, and people who are like, this is what makes me like this team aspect, and that everybody having limitations is what makes me drawn to it.
I also think there's a certain degree with most sports that people watch where you have the ability to go out and do it afterwards. So say you sit there and you watch a golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, fuck, I want to go golf. You can just go to the driving range and hit some balls. If I'm watching a bunch of PC players play together and do something, I can't just go do that. Like, what am I going to do? Like, put Madden in and play that? And it's like, it's not even close to what's going on. Like, I might get, when I do watch some professional Madden stuff, I'm like, oh, I may have to play a game or something. But then, like, once it goes above that and I'm like, well, I don't have a multi-$1,000 gaming PC to just go play this on. So there just kind of has to be levels.
Do you think the videos of the guy who put beans in his computer are funny?
I'll
tell you what, I do.
It's kind of silly, but I also hate beans so much that I was like,
you're just mad because of the culinary choice.
Like, put spaghetti.
Why didn't you just pick peas?
Put spaghetti in there and I would have laughed a little harder. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just like, ugh, beans. That's what you chose? I guess they were cheap, but that PC was expensive.
It was.
I don't know. There's a lot of levels to it. I think the main thing that I'm coming down to is one, people should start getting involved in gaming, and especially at a young age, it should be encouraged. Because if people obviously Ninja is one of the top, if not, he's the top earning gamer.
Well, I knew you would come
$30
at it from
million.
that perspective, and so I kind of thought about it, and I was like, this is such an opportunity for rural kids like you and I.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and now, I think now that things are becoming, you can think about when it just feels like when I was in high school or junior high, a gaming PC, it was something it was just so much money. And now it's you can look up a YouTube video and you can get the parts and you could build one if you're really if you want to do it.
For cheaper than probably a console if you're trying to absolutely do it on a budget.
And you're and you're going to really appreciate it. Whereas it's just tough to compete with something where all right, let's go play basketball. You buy a fucking basketball and you find a hoop. It's just,
same reason why we advocate for disc golf, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's a very for $15 you can go out and play it and have a great time, and it's very easy to pick up. It's just boom boom, but it also another thing I was thinking about is the crossover of a similarity I thought of between gaming and actually playing sports. Not that I don't want to say gaming isn't a sport. Between gaming and physical sports. I would
like to say it.
Yeah, gaming.
You know what? I'll go ahead.
Not a sport.
I think it is.
I think it is as well. It's esports. I think it is a sport, but saying I don't know. Besides video games and then the traditional sports. That's what I'll say.
I think that streaming technically isn't, but I think that team play. So
between team play esports and traditional sports, there is a certain amount of God-given ability, and then there's a certain amount of practice. There's those quick twitch muscles that you're just gifted with. That's just what you already picked that up. You picked up a controller.
Or you took the Adderall, and that's why they test for it.
Yeah, exactly. But there are other people who picked up a controller and just were better at video games at a younger age. It just happened.
Yeah.
The same way that the first time somebody shot a basketball and they're like, oh, we should maybe make them shoot a few more. They're pretty good. We'll take them on our team. So I think there's a lot of fun comparisons, and now that it's much more available to people, I think we will see a rise. It's just we are on the forefront of seeing this going somewhere, of getting more coverage by sports. We saw ESPN there when they were struggling for ratings. We're like, fuck it, let's throw it in. We watched the Madden one, we watched the Rocket League ones. Mizzou has an esports team at Columbia College. I think it's coming around,
and I think that point you made of we're on the front end of it is super important, because truly, we're interested. We are the demographic that they would think is more sports oriented, and we are sitting here watching esports.
I'm content oriented.
Yeah.
If it's good content, I'm gonna watch it.
Absolutely.
I have no hard feeling. Anything that's entertaining, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it in front of my face. Just
without a doubt.
As long as it's accessible. They do it the right way. They make it all accessible on YouTube, tweeting out on social media, Instagram, whatever, putting out good clips all the time, which something that streamers are great at doing. They're using YouTube as their, in their back pocket. So as long as that stuff keeps going on, I think it's going to continue to grow. I think people are going to really start paying attention to it.
Well, do you want to talk about anything else, or is this it?
I think that's good. No, I think we're good for today. I think that was a tight little episode. Esports talk, we'll see how that turns out. But
well, I'm all in.
I am too. I'm right there with it. So that does it for this week. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Check out all our social media, please. Love you guys. Sneaky.